Hi everyone, this is Tim, your Block 1 lecture instructor, and today we're going to cover chapter 14, which is spirituality. And the learning outcomes are going to be describe the differences and similarities between religion and spirituality, discuss what is meant by spirituality. For each of the religions briefly covered in this chapter, describe its major beliefs and their implications for nursing care, identify 5 barriers to spiritual care, perform a spiritual assessment, plan nursing interventions based on the data obtained in the spiritual assessment, and examine your own level of comfort in terms of performing spiritual interventions. So, the history of spirituality in nursing. For the pre-Christian era, this is caring for the sick, which was an expression of charity and hospitality, and people at this time prayed to the gods for healing. For early Christian era, nursing the sick was an honor because of Jesus Christ and his teachings. For the post-Reform period, which is also the Florence Nightingale era, spirituality was the heart of human nature. For the mid-20th century, spiritual care was less important as science continued to develop. And for today, the focus is on considering each patient's lifestyle, their value system, and their religious beliefs. So, what is religion? It is a map that outlines essential beliefs, values, and codes of conduct into a manner of living, and many of the world's religions hold common beliefs. And with spirituality, spirituality is a journey that takes place over time and involves the acclimation of life experiences and understanding. It's an attempt to find meaning, value, and purpose in life. So with religion, it's a map, and with spirituality, it's more of a journey. So a clicker check. The nurse notes on the admission form that the client has indicated no religious preference. He understands that A. The client does not follow the tenets of a specific faith. B. The client is in denial about his religious beliefs. C. The client does not believe in God or a higher power. Or D. The client will not want to pray or visit with the chaplain. And the answer is going to be A. While the client may not follow the rituals and customs ascribed to a certain religion, there is no data to suggest that the client does not believe in God or that he would not want to pray with the chaplain. So here are the core issues of spirituality. There's faith, hope, and love. And with faith, it's a set of beliefs developed over time. And with hope, this is the basic human need to achieve, create, and shape something. And with love, this could be joy, meaning, or purpose, but it could also mean heartbreak. So if you look at the paragraph on 248 under love, it will describe the ability to give love, to receive love. Love could be joyful and make you feel good and stuff, but then in the same sense too, it could also make you feel horrible with relationships and breakups. So relationship between religion and spirituality, they are separate and distinct concepts. They are completely enmeshed in concepts. And religion is an aspect of spirituality, but it's also vague and undefined within the concepts. Spiritual beliefs in health. Research suggests religion has a positive influence over physical and mental health, and research does not answer how or why religion affects health. Being a bedside nurse and working with oncology patients, I have seen people become very religious, especially in their time of need, and it's religion is what gives them hope and the belief that either they will find some meaning in their life and be able to heal from the illness that they have, or they accept their belief that they will, be able to go on to some other better place. So I think that religion gives a lot of people hope, especially when they're very sick, and it kind of gets them through the trials and tribulations of illness. So there are major religions. See here, there's Judaism, there's Christianity, there's Mormonism, Islam, Hinduism, and Native American. These are the ones that I really want you to be aware of and know. There's a million religions out there. Your book does suggest a lot. These slides will also bring up a lot of them. But the Judaism, Christianity, Mormonism, Islam, Hinduism, and Native Americans. Those are the ones I want you to focus on. I think mostly because of where we live. If you do practice as a nurse here in Arizona, these religions tend to stick out a little bit more as far as the patients you'll take care of. So being aware of them um, allows you to care for them and their spirituality and understand them a little bit better. So I've already brought up Christianity, which follows Roman Catholicism, the Orthodoxy, Protestantism, and other ones. There's Islam, the Baha'is, Hinduism, and Sikhism. And they have the Buddhism, American Indians, and the Rastafarianism. So for a clicker check, it would be most important for the nurse to instruct the NAP to assist clients of which faith to wash their hands before meals. This will be either Christian, Jewish, Mormon, or Muslims. And the answer is going to be D, which is the Muslims. So what every nurse should know, you should be able to gain self-knowledge, be open, welcome challenges, and take time to reflect. I think the biggest thing that you possibly could do as a nurse in caring for someone who is very spiritual, regardless of what their religious beliefs are, is to be open. I have taken care of several patients that have either spiritual beliefs or religious beliefs that are different from my own. If anything, I have learned from them. I've found that patients, if you sit down with them and talk to them about their religious beliefs and you tell them you don't know what they are or understand what they are or have never heard of them, they're more than willing to actually sit down with you and tell you everything they know. They're proud of their religious beliefs and their spiritual beliefs and who they are. So being open to not so much changing your own religious beliefs, but just kind of learning something new and being educated on somebody else, it's actually very empowering. Spiritual care demands are non-judgmental attitudes and open thinking. Again, like I said, you're talking to your patient, you're taking care of them, you're asking what their religious beliefs are so you can make them feel better, which is, again, as we said in the earlier slides, it helps them um, heal faster and makes them feel better. So you're not being judgmental, you're really just being open to new ideas and just learning something new. So barriers to spiritual care, lack of awareness of spirituality in general, lack of awareness of your own spiritual belief system, and differences in spirituality between nurse and client. Um, Again, I think that the lack of awareness and not being open and being accepting of other people and their cultures and their spiritual beliefs and their religious beliefs um, is detrimental to your patient. Um, you should also be aware of your own spiritual beliefs. You could believe anything you like, and you can also not believe anything. So, but it's a matter of understanding who you are and what those beliefs are. Um, Kind of allows you to take care of other people. Fear that your knowledge base is insufficient. Again, like I said, if you don't know, just ask your patients. Sit down with them and discuss it. You also have Google. I mean, how easy is that? You sit down, you figure out who they are, Google it, get as much information as you possibly can, and take care of them. Fear of where spiritual discussions may lead. They'll lead nowhere. If anything, you will understand more about a religion that you never knew before. You understand your patient, and you connect with them. You form a bond with someone over just becoming educated and being closer to them. So again, you're not necessarily changing what you believe based on what they tell you, or you changing them. It's really just learning something new and becoming a more rounded person, especially a well-rounded nurse. Assessment of spiritual needs and practices. There are several tools. The first one is the Jarrell Spiritual Wellbeing Scale, the Spirit Model, and the Hope. What I would like for you to get from this slide is to become more familiar with these different tools. They're also found on page 256. And again, this is things that you really can kind of quickly go in, sit down with your patient, ask them a few questions, and find out more about them. Sources of information about spirituality, client and the family interviews, client environment, client questions, and nonverbal communication. Again, you can sit down with your patient and talk to them and their family members and ask them what their views on religion and spirituality are. Um, assess the environment. You know, you go in and you assess your patient every day, all day long. So why not walk in the room and look around? Are there pictures? Are there crosses? Are there statues? You know, and ask them. I've had patients where I walk in the room and something looks a little interesting or out of the ordinary, and I'll ask them, so what's this? And like I said, this leads into a whole conversation of who they are and what they believe and how they were brought up and what their traditions are. And again, you know, ask the patient questions. So diagnosis is related to spirituality. You have moral distress, you have spiritual distress, risk for spiritual distress, and readiness for enhanced spiritual well-being. You have impaired religiosity, risk for impairment of religiosity, readiness for enhanced religiosity. Not sure, quite sure how many times they can say that word. And then you have spiritual pain. So the planning outcomes and interventions, you do have the standardized outcomes. You have also standardized interventions. Spiritual interventions used to treat and prevent spiritual problems related to client's illness and may need to make referrals. So we have prayer. To determine whether the client wishes you to pray for him or with him, and ask what client would like you to address in their prayer. I've been in rooms before where the family is praying, and I've been asked to pray with them. It may not be the religion that I practice, but you know, it doesn't hurt. Now, I'm not saying that you have to, you know, pray to a different God than other than what you believe in. But if they ask you to sit with them, hold their hand, and they can pray, you're really just being there as comfort to them, and it makes them feel better. Um, Again, I've been in rooms where they've asked me to pray, and I've just really just sat down with them, and just your presence being there is comforting. And if you don't feel comfortable being there, then you can politely excuse yourself, offer for someone else to take your place, or offer a chaplain or someone that belongs to their religious sect to come and visit with them. So you don't have to actually necessarily be rude or feel uncomfortable or feel that you have to do it, but again, ask them what they would like from you. And again, you may really just find that they want you to sit with them and just be there. So, per guidelines for nurses, ask how the client prefers to be addressed as far as the divine. Ask client if the rituals or religious items are needed before prayer, and always feel free to pray or not to. Do not be compulsive about praying or avoiding prayer. Know there are appropriate times and places for prayer. Again, you know, if the room is full of diagnostic things, it might not necessarily be the appropriate time, but you could always ask them when they like to pray, so you can kind of schedule things around it. And again, you know, don't necessarily avoid them or feel uncomfortable, because they sense that. So just be upfront and be very comfortable with them, and ask them what they would like, and discuss things with them. When a client asks for prayer, know how to reply and focus the prayer on the client's request. Know prayers that are realistic. If composing prayer is difficult, use existing prayers from religious text. Most people who are very religious have some sort of text, and they know how to pray from it. So, you know, again, learn from them and discuss it, and plan around it. Include requests for divine help involving healthcare team. Thank the client for being asked to participate in prayer. They were really just trying to involve you in their care, and you can politely accept or say no. Um, but again, thank them for inviting you into something that they hold very dear to them. So for clicker check, would this statement by the nurse would be correct? We should pray to God that our cancer goes into remission. And the answer is B. The nurse should not be stating that the intent of prayer session, and the client should do that. Cures, miracle, and spiritual healing. A miracle is anything that allows for the presence of a transcendence, and a miracle does not necessarily involve a cure. A miracle could be a spiritual phenomenon. It could also be mysterious. It's also difficult to define. They can be ordinary events or extraordinary. Miracles commonly proceed according to natural law, and miracles still have a profound impact on the person's expectancies. And this is the end of the PowerPoint. If you have any questions, bring them to class, and we'll go over this chapter a little bit closer. Thank you.